finance minister pays a visit to Saskatoon. What business leaders want the city to do with its share of the budget pie. Saskatoon police enlist the help of a new top dog, what Taffy is trained to sniff out for investigators. And thousands gather in Saskatoon to mark the end of Ramadan.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We are learning more specifics about a forensic audit into the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations. Documents obtained by CTV show the review from Indigenous Services Canada and the more than $34 million of ineligible, questionable or unsupported spending. The federal government flagged a significant amount of COVID-19 expenses meant to deliver PPE to First Nations across the province. Also flagged were admin fees spent on the FSIN's new office building and multiple fleet vehicle purchases. Travel expenses and payments to a former employee were also flagged, resulting in Indigenous Services Canada demanding the FSIN repay nearly $29 million. It has until April 2nd to dispute or provide necessary documentation. We have reached out to the FSIN for comment, but did not hear back in time for broadcast. The province is making changes to game bird hunting licenses. The goal is to reduce illegal outfitting. And as Jasmine Peltier reports, hunting organizations are embracing the change.
New schools in Saskatchewan are being opened at an accelerated pace to meet growing demand. 20 projects are still in various planning stages, with 3 more announced in this week's provincial budget. Now the province says some previously announced school capital projects are being paused temporarily.
They won't be advancing as quickly as initially planned. That doesn't mean that the projects are in jeopardy. All of these projects are going to be completed.
The government blames in part rising construction costs for the need to stage work in sequence.
All projects end up costing more. So that is part of it, I think. Plus, you see some of the other things that are happening around the world these days with respect to tariffs, rising oil prices. That all has an impact.
A new school in Carlisle is one of the projects being paused.
A little frustrating to have that project put on pause for the year, I know from both a community and division perspective. We were hoping to get approval to proceed to tender. But we are thankful the project remains approved, and I know the province has indicated a commitment to complete that school build.
Other projects at risk of being paused are major renovations to Regina's Campbell Collegiate and a joint use school in the city's southeast. The School Boards Association is awaiting the final list.
Of course, our members and my organization would love to see construction progress faster within the province. But, the reality has been the last several years, due to many factors, including just lack of skilled trades, that we've had some challenges.
The NDP questioned why the province announced additional school projects in this week's budget.
Things aren't going to get cheaper. If they were concerned about escalating construction costs.
The government says paused capital projects could extend beyond just schools. A complete list is being compiled. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
And we apologize for that. That was Wayne Mantika's school story for this evening. The province says a new nursing task force is now in place. The task force will look at some key areas, which include retention and recruitment, support for nurses through mentorship, and lowering violence in patient care settings. The task force will also look at making more effective teamwork and ensuring all members are working at the top scope of their practice. Ongoing collective bargaining is also underway, which, according to the province, means some areas might be better addressed through those discussions. Well, Jeff, spring has sprung.
Yes, well, it won't feel too spring-like as we make our way into, well, as you said, spring showed up here in Saskatchewan at 8:46 this morning. But we have very sort of wintry, shoulder winter season situations here as we have that battle between winter and spring going on, and the result is often snow, and that's what we're getting. Rain and snow, the possibility of freezing rain. We're watching a couple of systems that are moving through Saskatchewan right now. We anticipate about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow in the Prince Albert area, a little less for Saskatoon. More details on that later on.
Police and the coroner service are asking for help to identify a person found dead outside earlier this month. They've released a sketch of the man who was found at 6 o'clock the morning of March 9th in the 100 block of 29th Street West. He is described as being white, between the ages of 55 and 70, with an average build and dyed short blonde hair. He had a scar on his nose and was missing most of his teeth. His death is not considered to be suspicious. Anyone who might know who this man is should contact police. A new police dog is helping Saskatchewan investigators uncover digital devices in child exploitation cases. As Stacey Hine tells us, the specialized canine is trained to sniff out items criminals try to hide.
Meet Taffy. The nearly 3-year-old golden retriever is the newest member of the Saskatchewan Internet Child Exploitation Unit.
The introduction of Taffy as a resource for investigators greatly increases our ability to locate these devices and hold offenders accountable.
She's one of 8 electronic storage detection canines in Canada. These dogs are trained to pick up the scent of chemical compounds found in devices like cell phones, USB sticks, SD cards, and hard drives, using their noses to help officers find crucial digital evidence.
Digital evidence plays a significant role in internet child exploitation investigations, and even the smallest device can hold thousands of images, videos, and messages.
After undergoing specialized training in Indiana, Taffy joined her handler last November. Now she's receiving her badge, and police say she's already making a difference.
In one of the searches, I can say Taffy was able to locate a phone that we didn't know was there, so that was very helpful.
She's also a trained therapy dog, supporting both victims and officers.
The type of work that we do is difficult work when you're looking and dealing with child exploitation files. So having her around the office has been nice for the investigators.
She's a dog with an important job, helping find what others can't. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
An investigation is underway to find out what led to the death of a man on the Onion Lake Cree Nation earlier this week. RCMP say they were called just before 8:30 Wednesday morning for a woman who was forced to stay inside a home by a man armed with a gun in the community. When police arrived, the woman was able to leave the home safely. Crisis negotiators spent the next few hours talking to the man, asking him to come outside. Just before 3:30 in the afternoon, officers went into the house and found the man injured. He died at the scene. RCMP say they found 3 guns at the home and that there's no indication officers fired their guns during the response. Because of the death, Saskatchewan's Serious Incident Response Team is investigating, and so is Alberta's because of the close proximity of the incident to the Alberta boundary. 4 people were sent to hospital following a 2-vehicle crash along Highway 16 west of Payton. RCMP say it happened last night at about 9 o'clock. A truck and a second vehicle collided. The driver of the second vehicle, as well as a teenage passenger, suffered serious injuries. A second passenger in that vehicle was sent to hospital for assessment. The driver of the truck suffered non-life-threatening injuries. The crash closed the eastbound lanes of Highway 16 in the area for several hours, but they have since reopened. There is no word on what caused the crash. A fire investigator is looking into the cause of a fire at Loris Recycle today. Crews were called just before 11 o'clock this morning to the facility in the 1900 block of 1st Avenue North. Firefighters arrived to find smoke coming from the building and staff evacuating. The fire was put out a few minutes later. No one was injured. The origin and damage estimates are being investigated. And this was the scene this morning along Highway 16. Saskatoon firefighters were called to battle this vehicle fire near Range Road 3043 just before 7:30. It too was brought under control and put out not long after crews arrived. Saskatchewan's finance minister was in Saskatoon today to talk to business leaders about the provincial budget and hear their concerns. With pressure facing all forms of government, how it directly impacts Saskatoon was front and center. Keenan Sorokon reports.
Finance Minister Jim Ryder continued his budget review roadshow Friday, meeting with Saskatoon business leaders after tabling the $819 million deficit budget, and the conversation quickly turned to its impact on City Hall.
We're going to have to figure out other ways to have a fiscal framework.
The city will receive more than $71 million from the province's municipal revenue sharing program. When the program was first tied to a formula in 2007, Saskatoon received $17.7 million. Adjusted for inflation alone, the city would get an equivalent $27 million instead.
It's tied to PST, it's secure, they know what's going to happen, and they can count on it.
While Saskatoon Mayor Cynthia Block appreciates the secure funding, she's looking for more help. With cities paying for more than 60% of infrastructure and services, one of the only ways to increase revenue is hiking property taxes, and she thinks it's time to change that.
That is not just dependent on our province, but also federally, to ensure that we can deliver for the residents of our city and for cities really right across Canada. We're all looking for a new deal.
Since 2023, the province has tasked cities with choosing sites for homeless shelters. Since then, city staff have spent many hours looking at hundreds of sites, in addition to drafting plans and responding to council's demands. In the past, some councillors have used that as an example of the province passing costs on to the city.
It's easy to say, well, the province is downloading. Nothing can be farther from the truth.
Regardless of any potential changes, business leaders here stress working best with what we have now.
And our call was, can you find savings inside the government? Can you use some of that flexible revenue share money to offset some of those expenses?
Keenan Sora-Khan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A global credit rating agency says Saskatchewan is equipped to handle current economic uncertainty thanks to its strong economy. A post-budget report from Morningstar DBRS says the economy appears resilient despite high spending pressures and slowed revenue growth, keeping the province in the red. One key factor the credit rating group says to keep an eye on is an upcoming review of the Canada-US-Mexico trade agreement, which has largely protected Saskatchewan goods from tariff trouble so far. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business is calling for the province to remove the PST on capital expenditures for small businesses to help them grow. Finance Minister Jim Ryder told reporters this week the government is unlikely to enact such a program. Well, as we were talking about earlier, the province is making changes to game bird hunting licenses. Jasmine Pelche with that story.
The Saskatchewan Wildlife Federation is happy with a new change to non-resident game bird licenses, saying it prioritizes Saskatchewan hunters.
We want to make sure that our residents here in Saskatchewan have access to the resources within their own province, and that we can continue to have those resources long into the future, and that they're managed for the benefit of all of our citizens.
Game bird hunting licenses are currently available to Saskatchewan residents, Canadian residents, and non-residents, with all licenses being valid for the full season. The update will limit non-resident hunters' term licenses to 1 5-day license in the spring and 2 5-day term licenses in the fall. The province does not expect a negative economic impact.
Our indications are it's not going to have that big of an effect on it, negative effect. They've looked at data from Manitoba, who's had this practice already, and they've seen very little to no negative impact on their economy.
The Saskatchewan Commission of Professional Outfitters Board Chair Jordan Rosewell says illegal outfitting has long been a problem in the game bird industry, and this change is a step in the right direction.
As a Saskatchewan resident and business owner in the outfitting sector, I find it really encouraging. It's a tool that we can use to prevent this in the future, and hopefully my children will be able to have the same hunting opportunities in the province that I had growing up.
Rosewell says illegal outfitting creates unnecessary competition for residents and costs the province in lost economic activity each year. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Muslims around the world and here at home are celebrating Eid al-Fitr. CTV's Laura Woodward now on how people are marking the end of Ramadan.
Allahu Akbar. About 10,000 Muslims gathered at Saskatoon's Prairieland Park for prayers marking the end of Ramadan.
It's a day of food, friends, feasting, and exchanging of gifts, which is the most exciting for our little ones.
During the holy month, Muslims abstain from food and water during daylight hours, focusing on prayer, charity, and community.
By practicing this discipline and restraining our desires, we become closer to God. We pray more. We do extra prayers during the night. We try to read the Quran, our holy holy book more. We try to say more prayers and to be kinder to the people around us.
And it's also a time to we can kind of compare as to other people who aren't as fortunate as us, who actually don't have food and water to eat as we do.
And at the end of the 30 days, there's a celebration, coming together, sharing food and reconnecting with loved ones. As large prayer gatherings end, families spend the day together.
After prayer, we'll go to my grandfather's house and we'll celebrate together.
Laurel Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A Saskatchewan RM has suddenly found itself with several vacancies. It comes as multiple councillors resigned earlier this week. Local administration says the municipality will continue to operate undisrupted, but as Donovan Mace shows us, the options are limited.
The RM of Sherwood is out the majority of its council after the Reeve and 3 council members all resigned earlier this week, leaving the rural municipality without council quorum. In an update Wednesday, the RM confirming the resignations of Reeve Susan Oakley Paul, along with councillors Grant Paul, John Wilkie, and Trent Rieger. Oakley Paul was first elected Reeve in 2020 and had spent a total of 8 years on the RM Council prior to resigning. While the reasoning behind the resignations has not been provided, the RM says it appreciates their contributions to the municipality and its residents. Administration adding, with these vacancies, the RM of Sherwood remains committed to ensuring stable and transparent governance. Sherwood says municipal operations and services will continue under the leadership of its Chief Administrative Officer Brad Wiebe and the 3 remaining council members. In addition, the Ministry of Government Relations will be appointing 1 or more people to act as council members as stipulated under the Municipalities Act. In response to CTV News, the province says restoring quorum is essential so the municipality can legally conduct business and make decisions. The appointed council ensures routine daily operations can continue. The RM adding, despite these unexpected changes, our commitment to serving the ratepayers of the RM of Sherwood remains strong, and administration will continue to work closely with council to maintain stable governance and ensure municipal services operate smoothly and without disruption. Now, CTV News attempted to contact the former Reeve and former councillors. Those who responded declined comment. Now, the province's appointees will hold their positions until a general municipal election is held in November, when all vacancies will be filled. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
First Nations students spelled out their best effort at Tommy Douglas School today. Today marked the 10th annual Saskatchewan First Nations Spelling Bee. The event involves First Nations students from across Saskatchewan who come together to celebrate learning, literacy, and the power of their voices. 286 students from across the province registered for the event this year. Students competed in 3 different categories according to their age group. It helps showcase their spelling skills while building confidence and improving ways to communicate. First place winners in each category will advance to the 2026 National Championship of the Spelling Bee of Canada in Toronto in May. Still to come, Vancouver goes without snow for the first time in decades, what it means for the climate, and why Donald Trump is again lashing out at his allies. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. U.S. President Donald Trump is lashing out at NATO again, calling allies cowards for not participating in American efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, the Iranian regime is threatening to widen the conflict. Judy Trin with the latest.
American warplanes and attack helicopters are striking more Iranian targets in efforts to reopen the Hormuz Strait. The United States is also sending 3 more warships and 2,500 more Marines to the Persian Gulf.
No force on earth can beat the American sailors or the American military.
But for the first time in this war, a U.S. F-35 stealth fighter, nearly invisible to radar, was struck over Iran and forced to do an emergency landing. Donald Trump continues to complain that allies are not sending military support to the Strait. On Truth Social, Trump said NATO without the U.S. would be a paper tiger. He called them cowards, unwilling to help despite so little risk. We will remember, the president warned. Allies were not consulted before the U.S. and Israel launched attacks on Iran. 3 weeks after the war started, 7 allies, including Canada, are expressing readiness to contribute appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the strait.
Celle-ci est strictement défensive.
French President Emmanuel Macron said the help would be strictly defensive to support regional allies and preserve freedom of navigation. Macron did not provide more details about how that will be done. At the White House, Trump seemed to imply that talks to de-escalate would be difficult.
And now nobody wants to be a leader over there anymore. We're having a hard time. We want to talk to them, and there's nobody to talk to. We have nobody to talk to, and you know what? We like it that way.
Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has not been seen publicly and has only issued written statements. Donald Trump says he believes Khamenei is badly injured. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Meanwhile, Iran's military warned that parks, recreational areas, and tourist destinations around the globe won't be safe for its enemies, renewing concerns of militant attacks far beyond the region, including here in Canada. CTV's Abigail Beeman now on the security threat and what can be done about it.
As reported by the state broadcaster, Iran's top military spokesperson warned Friday parks, recreational areas, and tourist destinations won't be safe for Tehran's enemies around the globe. CTV News reached out to a number of top tourism destinations and organizations in Canada, as well as law enforcement. Canada's spy agency told CTV News the terrorism threat level from Iran has not changed, still at medium, meaning that a violent extremist attack remains a realistic possibility. The most likely scenario for serious violence involves a lone actor whose intent to mobilize is unknown to authorities and who may be inspired by the Mideast conflict.
Iran has a long history of striking abroad. It goes back to the 1980s, the attack against the Marine barracks in Beirut. In the 90s, there was an attack against a Jewish center in Argentina.
We have to obviously be concerned because we know that the IRGC has capabilities globally. They work with organized criminal groups to do targeted killings through transnational repression.
This international security expert says he is most worried about the upcoming World Cup, with thousands attending and the eyes of the world on the U.S., Mexico, and Canada.
I know already that counterterrorism agencies and those that are working on security for the World Cup have had to factor in the Iran dynamic now. And also Iran is qualified to play.
Canada's Tourism Industry Association declined an interview, but told us in a statement they're concerned about any threats that could impact travelers, tourism workers, or destinations, saying they're monitoring official Government of Canada advice carefully and encouraging others to do the same. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
There is one city in Canada marking the first day of spring with an almost unheard of feat for a Canadian winter. Vancouver has gone snow-free for the first time in decades. But as CTV's Andrew Johnson shows us, that's not necessarily good news.
It's been raining this week in Vancouver, a lot. And on this first day of spring, fresh blossoms are already foreshadowing more beauty to come. Sounds like a normal West Coast winter, but this year, something was missing.
We did not receive measurable snowfall at the Vancouver airport this winter.
Vancouver doesn't get a lot of it, but every winter for decades, there's been at least 1 centimeter of snow on the ground at some point at YVR. Not this season, for the first time since the Queen was in town to open the city's new domed stadium. The year was 1983. The winter of 2025-26 has also been warm.
In Vancouver, it was a very warm winter. Our mean temperature was 6 degrees. The normal mean temperature is about 4.3.
Now, we could decide to have some fun with that at the expense of our eastern neighbors who got buried this winter.
It was crazy. We haven't had storms like that in a long time.
But we wouldn't do that.
Shocking, to be honest.
The problem, Vancouver's warm winter meant less snow fell on the coastal mountains, which could cause serious issues this summer.
We really have depended very much in Vancouver and many other municipalities on the slow melt of snow coming from the mountains to recharge our reservoirs.
Right now, the region's snowpack is at about 75% of average, which could also leave forests vulnerable to wildfire this summer. At least that's the way things look now. Experts point out if the West Coast experiences a wet spring, particularly in June, which has earned the nickname January for its reputation of dampening the ground and spirits ahead of summer, water levels could be just fine. Andrew Johnston, CTV News, Vancouver.
Hello, my name is Dean McNeil. I'm the conductor of the University of Saskatchewan's Jazz Ensemble, and I want to invite you to our term-end concert Saturday, March 21st at 7:30 p.m. in Quantz Theatre, which is in the University of Saskatchewan's Education Building. The concert is entitled Full Band Width, and that's because we're playing an extremely wide variety of repertoire. So Jeff, what's the weather going to be like?
Well, things are looking okay, and I'll say okay because it won't be snowing. So that's what we've got to look forward to. But it's going to be a bit on the cool side. Dean, we've got ourselves -2 degrees for a high, so it's about 2 degrees below seasonal. Cloudy conditions. Of course, that concert is at Saturday night, 7:30 at Quantz Theatre in the Ed Building on the U of S campus. For more information, you can contact dean.mcneil@usask.ca. All right, let's take a look at our numbers. Currently in Saskatoon, it is 0 degrees. Prince Albert, -1. There was some snow earlier in Prince Albert. It may get, we expect more later on. 0 degrees in the Battlefords, and as you can see, kind of windy, especially in Saskatoon and the Battlefords. Now, the almanac for Saskatoon, 4 degrees. That temperature was in the middle of the night, I believe around 3 in the morning. 0 was typical for this time of year. Oh, and by the way, in the mid-afternoon, it was around 2 or 3 degrees. 14, the record warm temperature, a tie for that year in 1945 and 1961. The record cold temperature from the year 1955, that was -32, and the sun's going to go down at 7:20.
Coming up, a show of Saskatchewan support. A woman in need more than a decade ago reconnects with the caring strangers who came to her rescue.
Sullivan's Crossing is coming back to Crave and CTV. Watch Sunday's episode right here on CTV Saskatchewan. Then join us Monday when we visit with the stars of the show, Chad Michael Murray and Morgan Cohen.
All right, let's take a look and see what we've got going on outside right now. Just cloudy skies as we look through the live lens of Skycam. And it has been a cloudy day and warm-ish, you know, certainly above seasonal. But as I mentioned, the 24-hour high was 4 degrees. That was early in the morning, but mid-afternoon around 2 or 3 degrees. So let's take a look at our satellite and radar shot here, keeping our eye on these systems, the one of many systems making its way through our province as we go through the weekend. And so there has been some snow. There was some snow earlier in Prince Albert, and we still expect some snow tonight. Let's take a quick look at the numbers just to recap. It's 0 degrees right now in Saskatoon, -1 in Prince Albert, and 0 in the Battlefords, and kind of breezy in Saskatoon and the Battlefords region. The hot spot in the province, Val Marie at 24 big degrees, Stony Rapids at -16. Yes, Stony Rapids was the cold spot yesterday, but yesterday they were at -28, today at -16, so certainly warming up in the far north. -2 degrees in Lloydminster, 15 in Swift Current, 9 in Moose Jaw, 7 in Regina, 2 in Yorkton, and 13 right now in Estevan, into central Saskatchewan and parts of the northern grain belt. Temperatures ranging from -3 degrees in Meadow Lake up to 4. That's in Kindersley. It's 3 in Hudson Bay. So a temperature range there of 7 degrees, and a lot of places in and around that 0 or -1 degree mark. Up north, -11 in Stony Rapids, -8 in Collins Bay. It warms up to -2 in Sandy Bay Island Falls. And right now it's -3 degrees in La Ronge. Down south, 20 degrees in Maple Creek, 17 in East End, 19 in Coronach, 13 in Weyburn, and in Carlisle. But it does cool off as we make our way north. Last Mountain Regional Park and Melville, both in at 2 degrees. Still on the plus side, though. And now on to our futurecast. So the computer modeling indicating, yes, it's mostly a snowy situation in the next 24 hours or so that as that system moves through. But to the southern edge of that system, we do have some rain-snow mix and some rain. And it looks like a second system will eclipse southern Saskatchewan as we make our way into tomorrow afternoon. On to our watches and warnings. Just want to point out there is a freezing rain warning in effect for areas around Yorkton, Melville. We'll keep our eye on that. A snowfall warning for parts of western Manitoba, and there is a freezing rain warning in parts of Manitoba as well. We've got ourselves cloudy or mainly cloudy skies for northern Saskatchewan. Temperatures in and around that -4 degree mark. A little bit warmer in the west central part of Saskatchewan. Again, cloudy conditions. -2 in Meadow Lake and Spiritwood, and 1 on the plus side for Kindersley and Rosetown. Some morning fog expected in Rosetown. 2 degrees in Maple Creek and Leader. Maple Creek expecting some flurries. Flurries also expected an outlook with a high of 0 and cloudy in Swift Current. We've got ourselves temperatures on the mild side as well, but you know, a little bit below seasonal for Yorkton and Regina. 1 in Moose Jaw and 4 in Estevan. Estevan anticipating a rain-snow mix on Saturday, and expecting some snowfall or flurries, shall we say, in Watrous, Humboldt, and Hudson Bay. Temperatures basically around -3 degrees. Couple of degrees cooler in Melfort with cloudy skies and a high of -5. So 5 to 10 centimeters of snow expected tonight in the Battlefords. The possibility of some freezing rain is certainly there. We could also have some rain changing to snow. Cloudy skies, -1 degree. The winds back off tomorrow. And then the 7-day outlook on the plus side for Sunday and Monday, but cooling off to -7 on Wednesday and Thursday. A chance of flurries on Wednesday. Similar pattern for Prince Albert, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow with windy conditions, -7 overnight. Cloudy skies tomorrow as the wind backs off, and then bumping up to 1 degree on Sunday, -1 to start the work week, and then cooling off for Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Take a look at Wednesday, -9 and a good chance of snow. -4 1 week from today. And Saskatoon, snowy and windy tonight, 2 to 4 centimeters of snow, a risk of freezing drizzle, and those wind gusts up around 50 clicks. And then as we take a look at tomorrow, -2 degrees, the winds backing off in the afternoon, cloudy skies, maybe some morning flurries. But right now, we're just going to concentrate on cloudy skies, less windy conditions. I hope you're happy, Chantel. And then 3 degrees on Sunday and Monday, -4 on Tuesday, and then getting cooler midweek, but -2 1 week from today. Actor and martial artist Chuck Norris has died. Norris starred in many independent action and martial arts films. He also starred in the long-running TV series Walker, Texas Ranger. Earlier this week, Norris suffered an undisclosed medical emergency while in Hawaii. A statement from his family says he died while surrounded by loved ones. Norris was 86 years old. Nearly a year after his death, actor Val Kilmer will return to the screen with the help of artificial intelligence. First Line Film says Kilmer will appear as Father Finton as a Catholic priest and Native American spiritualist in the upcoming film As Deep as the Grave. He was cast in the role before his death in April of last year, but couldn't work on set because of his health. The filmmakers say they made the decision to use AI to honor the actor's deep personal connection to the role. And roses will not be handed out this spring. The Bachelorette with Taylor Frankie Paul has been canceled just days before it was set to air. A spokesperson for ABC said the season, which has already been filmed and was scheduled to begin on Sunday, will not be aired. The decision comes after video surfaced appearing to show a domestic dispute from 2023, which resulted in Paul being arrested. In it, she can be seen throwing chairs at her ex in front of her daughter. The network says at this time, its focus is on supporting the family. So ABC didn't know she'd been arrested 3 years ago. That's interesting. Right. Great vetting process there.
Well, I know you vet our photos of the day very well.
I do. I curate them.
Okay, what do you got?
That's what I do. Okay, let's take a look at this one. This one comes to us from the Humboldt area. Maureen sends us in. Maureen tells us, March Madness is the result of too much snow and not enough sun. There you go. It looks almost dystopian. I love using that word, yes. But thank you. And specifically, this is Water Ridge Park in Humboldt. Next one comes to us from Kathy. Kathy writes, such a spectacular sunset illuminating Wilkie. I just had to share it. And we're glad you did, Kathy. A lovely shot there. So thank you so much. Finally, from Ada. Ada says, hi, Jeff and Chantel. Here is a pile of cats. Top to bottom, Barney, Nelson, Sheldon, and Carrie, half the cat bunch on the farm at Fort Pitt, enjoying the sunshine. And then Ada adds, those cats do have a heated cat house. Those cats are doing what you should do. Grab some of that sunshine. So that's great. So thank you, Ada, for sharing that image. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put pick of the day in the subject line. And yes, if you're going to shoot it on a phone, use the horizontal access.
Still to come on CTV News, a show of support from strangers. A woman reconnects with people who came to her rescue in Saskatchewan 13 years ago. A woman from Saskatchewan is recalling the kindness of strangers she experienced years ago. She found herself unconscious outside a grocery store in Regina when strangers stepped in to help her. Damien Smith has the story.
As Susie Krause walks out of Deal's Your Independent Grocer, she's reminded of a very memorable event that happened here in 2013.
I was going in to get some groceries and I slipped on some ice out front of the grocery store and fell, and I hit my head and was knocked unconscious.
8 months pregnant at the time, Krause remembers waking to see several strangers had come to her aid.
There was this group of people standing around me and they were all wearing t-shirts, which was really weird because it was like -40 that day. It was like frostbite weather.
She says a group of 5 to 10 people piled their jackets on her while she was unconscious. They also called an ambulance and got a hold of her husband. 7 years ago, her tweet went viral on X, back then known as Twitter.
People from some places reacted really shocked that anyone would do that. But I've found that like when it goes viral within like Saskatchewan, people are like, of course you would do that.
A month ago, her story was published in the Globe and Mail. In it, she describes that day as a blur, not able to speak to those in the hospital, but the article gave her a chance to put a voice to those blurry faces 13 years later.
This lady reached out and she was like, I was the one who got your phone out of your purse. She said, my friend was the one who held your head still so that you wouldn't injure yourself more. And there was another man there who was just talking to you and asking, you know, like how long till you would go into labor naturally.
That child she was carrying in 2013 is now 12 years of age.
It's a really special memory for me, and like, you know, it's been 12 years and I obviously still think about it. So it's just amazing the little things that you can do that you probably will forget about, but that someone else will think about for forever.
As an author of 3 books, it turns out her own short story has a happy ending. Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
When we come back, heartbreak for the Huskies, and later learning the art of a Ukrainian Easter tradition.
All right, time for the rural forecast for Saturday. And this is how things are shaping up, a little on the cool side compared to what we've had most of this week. But -2 degrees, the expected daytime high for Meadow Lake and Spiritwood and Lloydminster. A little warmer in Kindersley. Outlook and Watrous, coolish and a possibility of some flurries. And there's also a possibility of flurries in Wynyard and Hudson Bay, both locations at -3 tomorrow. Making our way down south, well, not those roasty, toasty temperatures that we had today in southern Saskatchewan, but still warm. 7 degrees in Rockland and Coronach, 2 in Maple Creek, but it comes with a chance of some snow. We showed you that on the Futurecast, a little system sliding through, and there's some morning fog expected in Pilot Butte and Carlisle tomorrow. So let's take a look and see what's going on for Norquay. Well, Norquay tomorrow, possibility of some flurries, -2 degrees, and winds not as windy as they are in other parts of the province, but winds out of the northeast 20, gusting to 40. And Norquay is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
The U of S Huskies suffered a heartbreaking loss at the National Men's Hockey Championships.
Ben Boyd, Allison, in front of them, they score!
The St. Mary's Huskies scored in overtime in the quarterfinals to beat the #1 seeded University of Saskatchewan Huskies 4-3 at the National Men's Hockey Championships in Halifax yesterday. It's the second straight year the Huskies won the conference championship but lost in the national championship tournament. The province has ordered an unlicensed immigration consultant to pay $96,000 in compensation to an alleged victim. According to the province, Yan Wang took payment for immigration services but failed to submit any documents on the client's behalf to the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program, instead providing the victim with false documentation. Following an investigation, the province issued a compensation order against the consultant to be repaid to the victim who suffered financial losses. Farm Credit Canada is expanding a financial support program to help producers navigate the high price of inputs driven by the Middle Eastern conflict. It says the change to its trade disruption customer support program will help agribusiness, farm operators, and food processors deal with rising fertilizer and energy costs. It's driven by concerns over potential supply disruptions from a region that plays a major role in global nitrogen fertilizer exports. The program was originally brought in to respond to tariffs affecting Canadian ag. Canadian retail sales were up over 1% in January. Morella Fernandez explains.
Sales totaled $70.7 billion in January, with increases in 6 of 9 subsectors. Vehicles and parts led sales in January, up by 2% month over month. Sales of building materials were also up, and more jewelry, luggage, and leather were sold. Those items get lumped together. Sales were up across all provinces, with Alberta making the biggest gain. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up a fraction to 72.92. West Texas Intermediate ended the day at 98.23. Western Canadian Select is up over $1 to 80.31. And the TSX lost another 537 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon just over $1.62 a litre. The lowest price in town, $1.58.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco dropped $6.27 and Nutrient finished the day at $102.69. Coming up, the art of making a Ukrainian Easter egg. Then it's home sweet home at Prairieland Park.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here tonight on CTV. Well, with Easter approaching, a group in Saskatchewan learned how to create a Ukrainian tradition. These students in Pilot Butte gathered last night to learn the art of the pisanka egg. Designs are written on the egg with beeswax before it's dipped into bright dyes to build intricate layered artwork. Once it's finished, the wax is removed, revealing a colorful and symbolic pattern underneath. The eggs are said to hold magical powers.
In Ukrainian culture, the pisanka writing is to keep away a monster from the mountains. So it's said that if you're writing pisanka, you are keeping goodness in the world. So that's why we write.
And making pisanka is a centuries-old Ukrainian tradition, one that takes a lot of patience, as you can see.
Yes, patience and time and artistry all together.
Skill, talents, all the things. Yes, just like crafting a forecast.
Crafting a forecast. There we go. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on for some forecasting numbers here. And it looks like it's going to be, it's going to be colder than seasonal, -4 degrees, cloudy and windy conditions. And then as we make our way into the afternoon, -3 degrees, the wind's back off. There's no snow. So if anybody, I don't know who that might be, is worried about, wind and snow ruining a hairdo, well, then I think that person is probably going to be just fine.
Okay. Well, we do have block tide bingo tomorrow night.
Yes, we do.
That's why I was requesting the snow go away, but you created some wind instead.
It goes away before 5 o'clock.
Better.
Well, the map is over there, folks. That's what I'm pointing at.
Well, hypothetically, I might need to get from a house to a car before then, so see what you can do.
Just jump on your broom.
Oh, definitely not be back on Monday.
I may not be. I know. We kid because we love. There we go.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Well, let's take our minds off of that. Anything and everything you ever wanted to know.
You know what takes my mind off it? jalapeno cheesecake. That'd be good.
That would not be good at all.
Okay.
I don't think you can get that at Prairieland Park this weekend.
Okay.
But do you know what's happening there?
Home Styles?
Home Style Show. It's the annual return over the weekend. It features everything from home design to renovation ideas, home technology, and more. It starts today and runs until Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. They might have ideas of like sheds you can put your coworkers in for the day and lock them up. Maybe, I'm just saying, maybe to check it out.
I deserve it.
Have a safe and happy weekend. Thanks for watching.